Hello, everybody. We got a Sanjam with a run of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, any percent glitchless, right here, and we actually have a fun little bid war that we got going on here. So you guys can pick which side that Sanjam chooses to embrace at the end of the run, either the light side or the dark side. Cast your vote with a donation, and in the comment, put which side you want to see Sanjam pick at the end, and we'll see what we can get at here. Sanjan, take it away.
Alright, so hello, I'm Sandra, and I'll be running Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Glitchless here, and so we're gonna get right into character creation here, and since this is Movember Foundation benefiting mental health and certain cancers for men, we're gonna choose the male scout, and so by the way, this character creation is in time, so I'll be explaining some of the stuff that is going on for the character generation. One second, let me do this real quick and turn myself down. So, in general fashion, sponsored by Chaos Shifter, another runner of this game, we're gonna pick Mullet Man, who is the official face of Revan in the Old Republic, and probably Star Wars canon too, even though that's somewhere out there. So, off to the attributes. So we're gonna max out our strength here. We're gonna put 14 in dexterity and 14 in constitution. So we want 18 strength because we want to do as much damage as we can, and 14 dexterity and constitution because we do need some survivability, especially early game. And we will put 10 in charisma because it'll help us towards persuade. And for our skills, we're just gonna put 1 in stealth and 4 in treat injury because we will be healing a lot, especially early game. And we don't use stealth in the game because stealth is pretty slow, but 1 point in stealth gives us an extra items in the beginning that will be really useful to sell because we do have a pretty strict money counter that we have to hit. So for our feat, we're gonna get a weapon focused melee weapon since we will be doing quite a bit of meleeing in the beginning for Tear. So, and then for the name, we can pick whatever we want, but since we are celebrating Mullet Man, I will appropriately name him Mullet Man. And also, we picked Scout because Scout lets us get some really useful implants and some points that we will really be needing later on in the game for persuasion. And so time's gonna start when I press play, so I'll give a countdown from on go. So,
Alright, I'm ready.
Ready? Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck,
So,
Sanjan.
thank you very much. So this entry of the game, we're gonna wake up in this ship here. Now there's a whole bunch of stuff that started going down for whatever reason. We just woke up. We don't know what the heck's happening. There's a bunch of stuff going on, so this guy comes in saying, hey, you got some stuff going on, you gotta go get your stuff, so, we're just gonna do that. So we're gonna put on some clothes, and we're gonna put on a short sword.
Okay.
So this is kind of like a tutorial about our party, so Trask will be a member of our party here. We're gonna go mash through this conversation because we don't care. We're gonna put a blaster pistol on Trask since it'll help us at the beginning of the game. And there's gonna be a cutscene where there's gonna be some battles between the Sith or the Republic and the Sith. So so I have Trask go there to use Power Blast to kill the enemies quick because he doesn't do that much damage here. We're gonna also loot this footlocker for some free loot, and we're gonna get into more cutscenes here. So you're gonna see in the Glitchless, we're gonna go through quite a bit of unskippable cutscenes. So this one's just them battling each other. Very fun stuff. And then a whole bunch of them are gonna get frag grenade down. Unlucky RNG, so we're just gonna move on here. We're gonna stop here and we're gonna throw a frag grenade to take care of this group. So sometimes they don't die, which is pretty unfortunate, but thankfully they already did die. And we're gonna see a Jedi and the Sith duke it out here. So a fun fact, this cutscene is pretty random in the amount of time it takes for finish because it's simulating a battle. Oh, that was pretty fast, so that's pretty good. There's been times, I think, where it has taken upwards to, like, over a minute, which is really quite a bit unfortunate, so we're gonna face more Sith and we're gonna get Trask to beat them up. We're gonna loot the lady for some useful stuff. We're gonna beat up some more Sith here. So hopefully Trask will use skill. So we're gonna do our first level up here. We're not gonna get any points in skill. We're just gonna save our skills. We're gonna get our two-handed fighting since that'll be useful later on. And then in this room, we are going to encounter a big bad deal with a double lightsaber, and Trask is gonna valiantly sacrifice himself to let us free. So thanks for taking one for the team, Trask. So we're gonna make our escape now. We're gonna meet try to meet up with Carful Nasi, who is one of the leaders of the ship, and we're just gonna run through here. So that there was kind of like a tutorial on itself, but we don't really care. We're gonna loot this. There's some computer spikes and parts, and then we're gonna go through this terminal to overload this room and kill all the Sith here, because we don't want to waste our time killing every single one of them. And so that's it for this first portion. So pretty easy stuff. Now we're gonna escape, and we're gonna go through this cutscene where our character is sleeping again, taking a dirt nap and waking up. So here during this I'm going to be using an adrenal stim here, which makes us increase our speed. So I'll touch upon this later, but we do use a few legal glitches in this game because this game is pretty old, and there's some glitches that we just don't avoid, so we just might as well take advantage of it. So we're gonna get some more stuff here. We're gonna put on double swords since they do some decent damage, and we're gonna take Carf since we need to take Carf, and now we're gonna see some Sith here harassing people. Those 4 Duros, I think. They don't deserve it. So they're gonna find out we're Republic fugitives, but we're just gonna chuck a grenade at them. This dude's pretty thankful that we did it, and now we're off. So we're gonna do a sell menu here. So we're gonna sell off a bunch of stuff that we don't need. We are gonna keep our Bible Blade though for later. So we're selling all of this because we are going to be needing quite a bit of money later on, because we'll be needing to afford some good items that are really expensive here. So we try to do as much of our selling on Terrace as possible, because items on Terrace sell for 50% more than usual compared to other planets. So we'll be trying to get as much money as we can on Terrace, but of course, we can't get everything on Terrace, and some of the stuff on Terrace does take quite a bit of time to get. So we're gonna go here, and we're gonna buy some really nice items from Zelka Forn. So we're gonna buy this nerve enhancement packages, and we're gonna buy 6 alacrity stims here. So stims are pretty much gonna be extremely useful because they are gonna make us pretty overpowered in this game. So we're gonna help this guy bullying this random guy, because we are good people. So for most of this run, we're gonna stay light side, because going light side is generally much faster. Though at the end, we can do light side or dark side, depending on what you choose for your donation. So donate to choose either the light side or the dark side ending. So we're gonna go here because we do need to grab some disguises later on, since we do need to. Oops. So what we're trying to do right now in the story is that we're trying to find a Jedi named Bastila, because she's like a high-profile Jedi that we'll be finding out more later. And we kind of want to try to find her as soon as possible, because she did crash somewhere on Terrace. So we're gonna help these people here by beating up these Sith too, because they have Sith armor, which will let us go to the Lower City, which is kind of around the area where Bastila will be. So that's why we went to hijack the Sith armor, since we need to be disguised as a Sith to go downstairs. And in general, just Bastila. In general, they also drop some really useful items. So now we're making our way through here. Car's gonna ask us to talk, but we didn't really ask, so talking to people is kind of a waste. So we're just gonna help those calm those drunk people down, since so the alignment is pretty specific here because we want just enough light side points to be able to use to get a certain Jedi crystal that will be extremely useful to us later. So assuming our path goes right, we'll just barely have those points. So I'm gonna take Karf out because I generally, for the most part, except for some battles early on, I don't want party members around because generally our party members easily get distracted with battles, and in order to transition to different areas, our party members have to be close by. So that's generally why we want to be alone as much as possible. So we're just gonna ignore these guys. And then we're gonna head over to this cantina to set our warp point for later. So I won't be doing that immediately, but it'll be useful for later, so I'm just gonna do that. So basically in that cutscene, there's kind of two gangs that have made their presence in the lower city, the Hidden Vex and the Volcars, and we're gonna help out the Hidden Vex because it gives us an easy way to enter the Volcar base, and there's some really useful stuff that we can get that will help us raise a lot of money. So we're gonna spam 1 here for the most part. So we're gonna agree to help him out, and then he gives us the papers to be able to head to the Undercity. So we are just going to make our way to the lower city here. So for FYI, this game is based on the D&D system. So D&D is short for Dungeons and Dragons. So there is an aspect of RNG in your hits, but our build, we'll be mostly going a dual wield with Basilisk lightsabers, since that's pretty much the easiest build we can access, and we'll be using a flurry build to be able to try to deal as much damage in as little amount of time as possible. So we're just gonna ignore these mobs. So we can ignore most encounters here for the most part, because most of the quests here will get us to level 4. Since by the time we finish Terrace, we will want to be level 4. So these beggars are gonna ask us for money. We're gonna give them 5 credits because we're good people. And then the lady's gonna ask us to help out, but we don't have time for that. So we're gonna get Karf out here temporarily because we do have a forced encounter that we have to beat up. And Karf is a pretty decent character because he can hit pretty accurately if he's close to monsters. Also, a great voice acting here. So we're gonna help this lady out because we kind of need to get through to the sewers anyway. So we're gonna have Karf use Power Blast here. Meet up this Ratgirl.
Please, you have to help me. Nobody else is gonna help me, even the back.
So we're gonna meet Mission here. Unfortunately, she's not gonna get much use here, except for this beginning part. But we're gonna take her along because we're kind of forced to, and she can help us get through some really vital areas. So I'm gonna turn on solo mode so that I walk alone here for the most part, because everyone's generally close by and we don't need a mission close by here to enter cutscenes. So we encounter Mission here, who asks us to help out rescuing her friend Zalbar, who is a Wookiee. And so rescuing Zalbar also gives us some benefits because he's going to be very useful for later on in Terrace, and he also has some very useful items that we can sell. So we're going to recruit Zalbar here because we want him to be a nice distraction. We're going to unequip the Mission here because we don't really use for combat, and since we'll be using Zalbar for combat later, we're going to give him 2 Vibro Blades. So I'm going to level up our main character here, Mullet Man. So we're going to get Empathy here because we generally will need some persuasion help later on, and it's the only really useful perk that we have for later. So we're gonna open this locker here because there's some nice items we can sell. And then we're just gonna exit here with Mission. So 2 hitting that is pretty good. because sometimes you can get pretty unlucky. So now here we're just gonna walk along. So you'll notice I kind of level in pretty specific areas because when you level up, you heal to full. So especially because my med pack supplies can sometimes be limited, I want to try to preserve it as fast as possible by leveling up. And we need to level up to level 4 anyways before hitting the end of Terrace, so not a big issue. So now the only good, reliable way to the Volcar base to get the super accelerator that we need, because basically we found out that Vastila, who we're searching for, has been kind of kidnapped by the Vex, and they're having sort of a soup racing contest. And whoever wins the soup racing contest will get her, so we're off to do the soup racing contest. So we gotta go to the Volcar base and grab some stuff for them. So coming up here is a infamous Rancor that people have trouble with. Generally, you would have to lure it and spam a bunch of frag grenades, but you know, we want to save the animals, so we're gonna do some series of precise movements here. And basically, if my movement is correct there, which it is, we've dodged a Rancor and we didn't have to take the time to lure it, so there you go. And so now we're in the Volcar base, and the Volcar base is pretty infamous for, as any Glitchless and NMG runners know, this place is very RNG, so these turrets will insta-kill you, so what I need to do here is to throw 2 concussion grenades, and I need all 3 of the candidates to be stunned, so that's just about a 60% chance, and if I don't hit it, I have to reload my save. So thankfully we got that first try, which is pretty good. And then now we're off here to, oh, there's no sound, so that's a little bit weird, but that's fine. Oh, there it is. So now we kind of have to grab the swoop parts, and then we have to grab some really nice items to sell. So we gotta unlock the garage here, which we're gonna be going through later. And then our next task is to grab the swoop accelerator here. So I generally have to keep an eye on my HP for a little bit, because you can get pretty low here. And the enemies in the next room deal quite a bit of damage, so I'm gonna do a safety healing up here. So generally this encounter is pretty hard, but thankfully in Glitchless you can pretty much skip everything. A lot of encounters, and we're just gonna ignore them, basically. So we're gonna grab our swoop accelerator because we can grab it while we're in combat, and now we're off to the second big RNG part because there are some really useful items here that we want. And on the way, I'm just gonna kill this droid. So I need to stun this droid because if this droid is not stunned in this next room, it's gonna freeze me, and that's pretty much kind of a death sentence. So sometimes, so nice first try stun. And also, I need to destroy the strong box, which sometimes if there's bad RNG like that, it can take a while. So yeah, I got stunned there, which means I had to basically reload my save and try again. So it's kind of unfortunate, but this is like a very heavy RNG part. So if I don't get the concussion grenade stun on that, I just have to keep trying again until I get it. So this droid's being a little uncooperative, unfortunately. Alright, so round 2, and let's hopefully Mullet Man can break the strong box. You know, I guess today's his day to kind of whiff. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Yeah, so if I take too long to break that box, he's gonna break out of that concussion grenade. So come on, Mullet Man. So yeah, in there contain a bunch of really useful items that we're gonna be needing for later on, because there's gonna be some hard fights, and right now we're really weak and we don't do that much damage. So now that we got what we need, we can pretty much leave here scot-free. And then we can make our... So generally, I think in casual play, you have to disable those turrets because those are insta-kill turrets, but concussion grenades fix every single problem in the world. So that was not too bad of a Volcar base. It could have been worse, but you know, that's just RNG for you. And then now we just need to get the swoop accelerator back to Gaddon, and then we'll be doing the swoop race. So you have time for some donations if you want to read some.
But I've got good instincts. And you have the look of a racer about you. Just try to relax, and in the morning we'll take you to the swoop track.
Dar, your mic. I guess let me explain this real quick. So we have to do like 2 swoop races to rescue Bastila. So for these swoop races, it's pretty simple, but I generally want to boost right when I get on a pad, because boosting on a pad gives us more of much more speed. And we don't for this swoop race we don't actually gear up all the way, because the last gear is actually slower for this part. So we just keep doing this and get on as many acceleration pads as possible, and that's basically it. So we have to do one more after this, so you have time for more donations if you want to read some, if you got the opportunity.
Yeah, we have a few. I am JB with $10. Says good luck on the run, Sanjan, and he is contributing towards the light side. Slickzilla12 with $25. Thank you so much for having me. I had an absolute blast. I was thrilled to showcase my favorite game in speedrun. Oh, and Sanjan, embrace the dark side. Thank you very much, Slick. And Anonymous with $5, who just says, for the glory of the light side, in parentheses. Yeah, keep those donations coming. So far, we got the dark side ahead with $30 to the light side 15. We'll keep donating with the voting with which ending you'd like to see Sanjan embrace, the light side or the dark side. Back to you.
Yep. So basically, Bastila got out her newer disruptor because plot armor Jedi powers, and then now we're gonna go through this battle with Brajic. So we can't really hit Brajic because he's really skilled at dodging, so we're just gonna chuck some frag grenades on him. Ideally, we'd like to see 120. Oh, he's already dead. And then we just need to loot him for some nice gear, and then after that we can just talk to Bastila. And so after we rescue Bastila, now our next goal is to pretty much try to get off this planet, because you know, we just want to try to get out of here as fast as possible, because there's just a lot of stuff going on, and we're gonna get Bastila here because actually, no, I'm not gonna get her yet, so we're gonna transit back here because we want to. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. We want to transit into the cantina here. This is why we did the warp here, because we want to talk to Canderous, whom you saw earlier, because he offers us a way to get out of there by he's offering us a good way to get out of here by stealing someone's ship. And and then we're like, yeah, that sounds good. So he offers us to borrow a certain droid from the droid shop. So I'm gonna get Bastila out here because she does have force. She has the ability to learn force speed, and force speed is a pretty useful ability, especially earlier on, because it gives us a better speed boost than our alacrity. So our alacrity right now only gives us a 20% speed boost, but force speed gives us a 50%. So that's why we're gonna try to run around with Bastila here in non-combat situations. So we're gonna grab our droid here by harassing her, because we don't have time to pay 2,000 credits for that. We're gonna recruit T3 into our party, and then we're gonna unequip him because we don't need some of the stuff there. And then we're gonna do another big sell menu here because we're gonna sell a lot more stuff. So we're gonna sell this repair kit, So we're basically going to sell the majority of our stuff here, except for some essential grenades and Basilisk lightsaber, since we'll be borrowing that for a good while. So we'll be selling everything but our stims here. I'm also going to take the time to level up our main character to level 4. We're going to save our skills here because we need to save some number persuasion, and then I'm going to swap to Vastula. I'm going to turn off solo mode, and I'm going to use that to warp our main character back here. So the reason why you'll notice I walk backwards here because the AI in this game is pretty bad, and we tend to you know, they tend to get lost, they tend to get stuck, and if you walk towards the back, it's just a little bit more consistent. So we're going to use T3 here to open the door, and then we're going to boot Vastula out for now since she's not needed for combat, and we're going to get Zalbar. So Zalbar is really good at combat here for the early game, so that's why we bring him. And we bring also T3 because he does have access to stunning measures, or ways to stun these encounters coming up here. So we're gonna kill these force encounters here, since we don't really have a choice, or else our party members are gonna get caught up in beating them up. So this is another really scary part because if we don't have a very good chance to hit, especially, and we're kind of dependent on our concussion grenades to kind of stun mobs and be able to hit them reliably. So if our concussion grenades don't hit, or if T3 doesn't hit a stun rate, which also acts as a concussion grenade, then we are in big trouble. We can't really die here because we do have medkits, except for one battle, but we can pretty much get endlessly trolled, and we do not want that to happen. So this is the first scary fight. I'm gonna really hope I hit my concussion grenade here, so I'm gonna pause. T3's gonna throw one concussion grenade, and I didn't get the stun, but it's not a big deal because they can't really kill us, but it's just really slow because everyone's just pretty much generally inaccurate. So yeah, if the soldier right here got stunned, we'd pretty much have a much better chance to hit him, but since we don't, we just have to deal with it. But that wasn't too bad, even though it did take us a while. Killing these blaster turrets is not a big deal, and then I'm gonna heal up just in case. So I'm gonna do a safety save here because this battle can go wrong, because if we don't get him stunned, he can use force powers, and he has a lot of really annoying force powers like Drain and all that kind of bad stuff, so we do not want that to happen. We want him stunned ASAP. And for whatever reason, he chucked the grenade at a T3, so thankfully that fight was really good, because he was pretty much stunned the entire time. So we came in here because he has to terrorist launch codes for us to be able to get out of terrorist without getting kaboomed by the Sith. And that was a mostly smooth Sith base. So that's pretty much the last scary part of this game for a good while. Up until like around mid-game is scarier, so that's a pretty decent terrorist. So in this game, terrorist is generally like the scariest part, because you're really weak and you don't have much of a... I meant to cast force speed there. You don't really have much of a means to kill people that fast, so you're kind of relying on grenades and RNG to hit. So thankfully that was really good. So now we grab Vastula there for more force speed goodness, and now we're off to tell Canderous that we want him to bring us to the Davix estate. So there's gonna be so Glitchless is quite a bit heavy on cutscenes because there's gonna be plenty of unskippable cutscenes, and we also grabbed T3 there because we need him to do some console security stuff. So you have time for 1 or 2 donations.
You summoned me, Lord Malik.
The search for Bastila is taking too long.
No.
Cannot risk
No. God, talking is hard. Wow. Alright. No donations quite yet. Can talk about the Movember Foundation for a little bit, though. Just all proceeds will go directly to the Movember Foundation, benefiting research towards men's mental health, suicide prevention, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer. Since 2003, Movember has funded more than 1,250 men's health projects around the world, challenging the status quo, shaking up men's health resource, and transforming the way health services reach out and support men. Back to you.
So if you want a summary of this cutscene, Matt looks kind of impatient that the Sith are taking their sweet time to find Bastila, so he basically just says, screw it, we're just gonna blow up the entire planet of Terrace, just because he can. And so he just tells Saul to go get ready. Even though that person in the cutscene who's the Admiral is a little bit hesitant too, so, you know. It's a good thing we're trying to get out of this planet, so. Scanners brings us into Davik's estate, and then he kind of shows off some stuff, and then just tells us to wait and chill here. But, you know, we've got other plans. And so, you're going to see a couple of relevant characters coming up here later. So, that was Kalo Nord. It's not that important right now, but he will kind of be a little important for later. So, I also face back here because I need only T3 to follow me, which he did, so. And so now, T3's the only one that can easily take care of that console, so we brought him to open up this hangar bay door. And then now you'll all be treated to some nice voice acting. Oh, also, the Sith is already beginning to blow up the planet. Sorry, but that ain't gonna happen.
I'll take care of them, Davik. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Make it quick, Carlo. The Sith mean business. If we don't get to our ships and find somewhere safe, the bombs they're dropping will kill us all.
So there's a reason why we saved a bunch of our plasma grenades here, so these 4 plasma grenades here will bring Kalo to 50%, and for this battle to end, we only need Kalo at a less than 50%, so. And so, you know, Kalo's kind of trying to make a desperado move here to kind of take us down with him, but you know, he gets owned by the Sith Fire, so big F's to him, maybe. So we're gonna loot Davik here for some really nice gear, and then I'm also going to unequip the combat suit on our main character because we don't need it anymore, and it's gonna get in our way for later. And we also unequip Canderous because his stuff is pretty good money, and that's the end of Terrace. So while this cutscene is playing, I do want to plug in an incentive for this run. So with your donations, you can choose the light side ending or the dark side ending. So that will be coming up quite a bit later in this run. If you want me to embrace the dark side here, you should donate, or if you want me to stay on the light side, you should also donate. And so we pretty much made our escape, hijacking Davik's ship, the Ebon Hawk. And so we kind of made our mistakes, but we got some fighters here to take care of. And so, fun fact about this fighter minigame is that the spawns for these fighters are exactly the same, so we just need to understand the patterns here, and we're pretty much mostly good. So sometimes I screw this up quite a bit, sometimes I don't, but that was a pretty good fighter segment. And so now Bastila kind of tells us to go to Dantooine to meet up with the council here. And then this is the part where we become a Jedi. So we're gonna go through some more cutscenes here. This lady's gonna tell us why the hell we're in our underclothes and not in the real robes of the Jedi Order. I don't think she understands that this is what our boy Mullet Man wears.
Ah, so you are the one who rescued Bastila.
So basically what happened in that last cutscene is that our main character kinda had a dream that Bastila also had, so that of some kind of a
Master Vandar, and of course the chronicler
some
of
kind of like a machinery.
Master Dorak.
So basically,
Bastila, I am sure you are
Bastila
already
and our main character kind of share a force bond. So that means they can kind of see each other's dreams, and then in some cases, kind of sense each other's thoughts. But in this case, mostly, well, we do share the same dream. We don't see movies here because I have movies turned off.
This morning.
So we're gonna use our alacrity here. So ideally, I would want to kept 3 alacrities for this total, but since I had to use one a little bit earlier than I intended to, I had to use I only had 2, so it doesn't lose as much time since in that first run that we had to do, we had to wait for Bastila anyway, so.
Bastila has told us of a most...
So Bastila tells the council about the dream
She claims humans...
that we share with her, and then
the path
Bastila's
chosen
gonna
to walk.
she's gonna say, oh, our main mullet man should become a Jedi, and then
Physically for the demands
you know
of
the
order.
Jedi council is like, yeah, sure, whatever. We'll take this obviously older gentleman to become a Jedi because why not? You know, pretty interesting that we get a really older person becoming a Jedi when I think even in this age, which by the way, this game takes place 4,000 years before the main Star Wars series that you're all familiar with, so
Do not be
yeah.
afraid to turn to her when you need help in your training. The way of the Jedi is difficult.
So this is a pretty long
Requires
cutscene
great discipline.
that we can't skip since
Yet
it
even
is
though you are a mere
glitchless.
apprentice,
So
your potential is unlimited.
pretty much
Your progress.
our mullet man somehow can pretty
In
much
all
just
my
like
years,
easily
I have
understand
never
everything
seen one
here
who's
so
mastered the
easily
initial training so
because
quickly.
you know mullet man's
You've done
mullet
a
man's
leap
just good at this
you
game.
can't do in years.
I don't think the Jedi Council understands
I am
how
honored to
to
welcome
get good.
you into the Jedi Order. Soon,
So we need to do one more thing before we can fully become a Jedi. So we need to basically go to school. So basically, what we had to do there was recite the Jedi code to Master Jar right there. So you know, we know the Jedi code, and for this part, we kind of determine which type of Jedi we want to be. So we choose Jedi Guardian here primarily because Jedi Guardians have a Force jump, which is really useful for us to be able to easily go around the place. So what I learned there was Force Speed and Force Valor, so Force Speed will be pretty much crucial for us to get around really fast since we don't want to keep using alacrities, and it has the best percent speed boost anyhow, so we're gonna make our lightsaber here.
you have done.
And then Jar's gonna tell us for our final test, which is to basically save someone that is doing bad stuff in a grove, who used to be a Jedi. So we're going to do that since it is our task. You also notice I learned Force Valor and Affect Mind because Force Valor is just generally a very useful skill because it increases all of our stats equally, and I'll be pretty much really useful for some battles coming up later. We don't really use it in the beginning here, so some people are just gonna ask us for help, by the way, but, you know, we're trying to accomplish our objective. We're not gonna help them out. And so you're gonna see here why Force Jump is just really good. So I'm just gonna immediately Force Jump to those calf mounds and pretty much just ignore them. And jump up to that calf mound and just ignore him, and that one. So basically, within a couple seconds, we just traversed through this entire map thanks to Force Jump. Yeah, the movement is pretty cool because a lot of getting really good at this category is learning how to time your force jumps very well, especially because it matters quite a bit early game, so. I also got 9 Persuade here because we're gonna need it for this conversation coming up so that I can just mash one.
I will be your doom.
Right, the iconic words, I will be your doom, so. So this is a person who's kind of been doing some shady stuff. And, you know, it's our job to kind of bring her back to the light side, so we're going to fight her for a bit. So you'll notice I don't use Flurry here because Flurry just in general is extremely inaccurate against Juhani. So that's why we just stick with the regular attack here, since we have a much better chance to hit. So I'm gonna grab some more loot here, because free money. And then we're gonna be back here to tell the council the good news. So I guess I'll talk about talk about the legal glitches here. So we make use of a very illegal glitch here called the duration glitch. So what duration glitch is that whenever we transition to a different area, the duration of our spells or or like force powers, etc., will increase. And that is going to be very useful because we want to keep our effects we want to keep our force speed or stims as much as possible. So you generally will also notice that in certain places that I went to, I generally will use my force powers or something before transition. So basically, we pretty much just want to make use of our duration glitch as much as possible, so we don't have to keep spamming stims or just say force powers, because since we're a Jedi Guardian, we have pretty limited force powers to keep spamming force speed. And so the council also sent us to go investigate these ruins that Revan and Malik, who were the Sith Lords at that time, kind of discovered.
I'm here.
So I'm gonna do a bit of macroing here to bring Bastila and our MC to different spots, and we need to solve these little puzzles. But thankfully, I'm a good gamer and I know how to exactly solve these puzzles. So we're gonna grab some more items there, and we're gonna solve this puzzle. And if I do this right, this door should open, and then I can turn off solo mode. And we're just gonna drag T3 there. So I grabbed T3 because if I had taken any other character there, the other characters generally like to want to talk to us, and we don't want to talk to them because we're not interested in their backstory, because we're trying to go fast here. So this is the item that Revan and Malik discovered, the star map, and it seems to be pointing us towards a general direction. And so now that we found out some stuff that Revan was looking for. Oh, that's unfortunate. So yeah, that can happen sometimes when our characters get trapped here, but generally just walking near them kind of fixes it sometimes. But it can be really annoying because this can lead to a pretty bad cycle of everyone getting trapped, and it's just a huge waste of time. And so I also looted the dead corpse here because there's some really useful items that we'll be taking use of later. So I'm gonna take out Bastila and T3. So I had to bring Bastila out there because the game forces us to take Bastila for those ruins. So we're gonna do another big sell and buy menu here, because basically I'm gonna be selling everything I have so that we can afford some really nice stuff. So be selling pretty much almost everything except for our stims, for some of our stims. So let's sell these because we don't need them. So we need the Jedi robe since it's some nice armor that we have. So we're gonna buy here a breath mask, which makes us immune to poison, and it's really nice for it's gonna be really nice for later, for this next planet. And then we also bought a CNS strength enhancer because it will boost all of our saves. Which, by the way, our saves kind of determine like if we're gonna get affected by something bad. So just like it's generally extremely useful for when we pass, because we're going to be passing through quite a bit of the Dark Jedi, and Dark Jedi tend to have some of the most annoying force powers that we have to deal with that pretty much will waste a ton of time.
You have done well in discovering the star.
And so now the Jedi Council is going to take us, tell us to go on a journey to find these star maps, to find out where the Star Forge is at, because how Revan and Malik got like really OP is that they have access to this place where they can just like start producing a whole bunch of like war machines, etc., to become really powerful. So I gave a boosting crystal, which boosts our attack, and then I put on our gear. And then more cutscenes. So we're going to Manon first because... Actually, I'll explain that later. Do you have any donations, Star?
Lord Malik, the Star Forge is operating at 200% capacity.
No donations to read out. We still are at $30 on the dark side and $15 on the light side. But we still got a lot of run to go. Keep those donations coming. And back to you, Sanjay.
War hero of the Republic and a legendary soldier. During the Mandalore Wars, he was honored many times for his...
Alright, so a little bit of foreshadowing here in this planet, in this cutscene, because if you remember that if you remember the person that we kind of beat up before leaving Terrace, he somehow as you see here, he somehow survived everything that happened, and he's gonna get basically paid by the Sith to kind of hunt us down.
Apparently they left him for dead.
A Jedi and a war hero. It's a wonder you survived the encounter.
I am hard to kill, Lord Malik.
Kylo has agreed to help us capture the young bastard.
So we want to, so you'll notice we do planets here in a very specific order,
His reputation is a mighty idea.
because we want to get a...
These are nothing to me, Kylo. But I desire...
Some of these planets will give us certain advantages, so we choose Manon first because we need to get enough money to buy a whole bunch of stims later on in our second planet, Korriban, or in Korriban, which will be our second planet.
In what Kylo has to tell you about Bastard's other companions, Lord Malik.
And we don't really do any combat in Manon, so doing Manon is perfectly fine since we're still really weak. Even though we did just become a Jedi, we just don't do that much damage for right now. And then, as you'll see here in the end, we will on the first and third planet get a certain boss encounters at the end just before we leave, and it'll allow us to easily dodge certain encounters. So for this part, I take out T3 because there's a cutscene in this area that we can skip if we have a party member with us. The cutscene there takes quite a bit of time, and we don't want to deal with that, so that's why we bring T3. And so we're going to talk to this merchant and do a menu here we're going to buy 1 alacrity, and then we're going to buy 5 hyperstrings here, since we'll be using quite a bit of those throughout the game. And then so, in the dream that we had just earlier, so by the way, the first time we arrive on each planet, we'll kind of have a dream of where the star map is at, which kind of gives us a hint of like where to go. So we kind of saw that the star map was underwater, so that pretty much gives us a hint that we need to find some means underwater. Also, we talked to Bob the droid there for good RNG. It is not mandatory, but if you want good RNG, you talk to Bob the droid. And Bob the droid tells us to obey the laws, which we're totally going to do. So we're just making our way here because we need to find a way underground, and these Republic people just know of a way to get us underwater, but they're gonna ask us to help them out finding some evidence of Sith doing bad stuff, so, you know, like good people, we're gonna help them out. Also because it's the fastest way to get to the underwater area, so now that we don't need T3 anymore, we're just gonna boot him out. And then we're gonna make our way to the Sith base to find some data modules, I guess. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think they stole it from the Republic, so they want it back. So this cutscene is unavoidable, so that's why it didn't matter whether or not we have T3. You're also gonna notice I spammed the default action here because if you don't spam the default action, your character kind of tends to go backwards, and that cutscene plays again, and it's just really annoying. So if you kind of face the correct way to where your default action would be to open that door, you just avoid having to deal with that. So now we're here. We kind of tried to force persuade the lady that we got an appointment here, but they didn't listen. So they're gonna shoot at us, but we're just gonna run through. And so we know where the data module is here, and it's in this room. So this place is a little bit dangerous because we can get hit quite a bit, and the droids here hurt quite a lot, so I'm gonna heal up a little bit for safety here, and I'm gonna force jump to that lady. And, you know, we're gonna exit to the main city, so... These Cellcav here are kind of interested in kind of trying to remain as neutral as possible, so any attempts to kind of like break that balance, they're gonna put us into trial. So basically they saw that we caused some shenanigans, and, you know, we're just like, we didn't do anything, so... You have to kind of be careful with your conversation choices for some of it, because if you make one wrong, really wrong conversation choice, that means you're basically dead. So that's why I chose in that trial to represent myself, because since I represent myself, I can just spam one, and that'll render me innocent. And so now with this back, we can just bring it back to Roland, and he can get us away to the underwater part.
Have you met?
Alright, so I did use quite a bit of med packs for that stiff face, but Manon is honestly the last, like, really kind of scary part where you might use med packs, so after that, we pretty much won't be using med packs for a little while. So you'll notice there that the text advanced really fast, so that's another Leo glitch that we're allowed to use called fast text. So what fast text does is that eventually over time, because this game has memory leak issues, the game just doesn't render the sound properly, and then the text pretty much just very quickly advances, so sometimes we'll take advantage of that. Oh, that's not good. They hit quite a bit there, so... And we're just gonna quickly make our way through this room. So you also notice why I say that alacrity, because this alacrity, lets us, do some nice, little trick for, this next section here, because, it's gonna be a really boring section here. Because we get to go underwater with the scuba suit, and we are ridiculously slow. So I'm gonna use my last med pack here. Use my alacrity here, and then we're gonna go in our underwater segment here. So we're walking really awkwardly. You know, that's just how movement works in here for whatever reason. So the reason why I use alacrity here is that our force speed generally won't keep hold for this entire time, and if we don't have force speed for this part, it's really slow. But once our force speed runs out, we still have a form of speed boost, and for whatever reason, the alacrity, our alacrity will still have the force speed movement boost, which makes us go really fast. So that's why we generally always want to keep alacrity on us for this part. Also, big F's for this guy. Pretty unlucky RNG to get eaten by a shark, by a Firaxan shark. And so now we're walking very slow now. So what I want to do here is to pretty much try to optimize my movement as much as possible. And you also notice this thunder emitter one-hit kills the Firaxa, but you'll notice that I'm using it for the inventory rather than from this interface right here, because using it from the inventory skips an animation, a really slow animation that plays. So if you had to use it from here, it would play an animation where you're kind of using it, kind of just like using a force power, and you kind of sit there in place like for a couple seconds, and you know, that's slow. So we're gonna kill these Firaxan sharks because if they touch us, they're gonna one-hit us, and we obviously don't want that. And yeah, you'll see why having a alacrity here is just so important, because even with 50% speed boost, we are still walking really slow. So I'm gonna loot this footlocker because we need a certain amount of computer spikes for very much later in game. Oh, that's unlucky, so I try to click this as soon as possible, but sometimes this cutscene can happen. So these scientists got really scared because there's a giant something giant terrorizing people because of the experiments that they're doing. You know, so I'm like, good people, we're gonna help them out. We just tell them, oh, we're gonna help you guys out. So yeah. So there's 2 more fraction trucks we have to kill here, and then so there's this Coltal tank that kind of contains like a bunch of healing. So Coltal's like the main ingredient in med packs, and it's used to pretty much heal up. And so generally I think in this game, like, you have several choices that you want to do. You can heal up the Sith or like help out the Republic with it, but 1 second. So what I did there was a series of commands there, because I just disabled the Coltal tank because it's faster than killing the Sea Beast. Because if we kill the Sea Beast here, which is a giant fraction shark, I think, a cutscene plays, and we don't need cutscenes playing. So you also notice I got a level up here, so I'll be putting that into Persuasion, because we need 11 Persuasion total. We put that into Improved Flurry, and then we put that into Dominate Mind. And so now we're just walking here slowly, and very conveniently, our friend here was guarding this star map. So very convenient stuff, so. And then now that we're done with this planet, we can pretty much just make our way out really slowly, because so even though we don't have the force speed boost, because force speed tends to wear out through here, you'll notice we still have our alacrities extended thanks to the power of the duration glitch. And since we're underwater, we still kind of like mimic the effects of a force speed, so we're still walking fast, thankfully, but unfortunately this is about as fast as we can walk, because we're really slow in this. So generally, in the other categories, I believe NMG still does this, but then you can take advantage of some glitchless or glitch techniques to make it go much faster. And I think in any percent, you don't even go to Manon at all. Use a really wild series of glitches to pretty much only go to one planet. And so we're gonna go through this pressure door. Okay, force speed here. Oh, the droids popped somewhere. Whatever. So we're gonna force jump to these droids. And so this is the main reason why we do Manon first. So if you noticed in that cutscene earlier, we saw Kalo. So he's here hunting us down, but you know, we're just gonna say hi to him and say goodbye. So we pretty much skip a lot of encounters here because we don't really need to kill them, and killing them is a good waste of time. We did used to kill Kalo in the last in a prior route, but then we routed that out since we figured we can still afford it and not use med packs. Since it used to be we did one final menu at Korriban to buy a bunch of med packs. And then now the Manon, or the cell calf here on Manon, are gonna, you know, harass us again, saying that we cause a whole bunch of crap, and we gotta go back to court. So we're just gonna try to force persuade them, but it fails, and oof, we're back in the Ebon Hawk. So thankfully that's pretty convenient, going back to the Ebon Hawk, because we getting kicked out of Manon permanently, by the way, puts us back in the Ebon Hawk, and that's just convenient because we're not gonna go there anymore anyways. And so we can go directly to Korriban. So Korriban's the second planet that we go to because we want to buy some really useful stims that were pretty much gonna make us overpowered here. Starting to get through the Port Authority here. We're gonna help these people out because we do want some light side points. So on this planet here, we want to get to. Also on this planet, we get some really good crystals here that will make us quite a bit more powerful, in addition to the stims. So that's generally why we want to do Korriban second here. So we're gonna talk to the Circo representative here, because we're gonna sell some of the items that Roland gave us, and then we're gonna buy pretty much all the stims that we can afford. So these are our final stims that we will be buying, aside from one more as a backup. So our objective here is to try to become, quote-unquote, become a Sith. And so we want to gain access to the Academy, but unfortunately they're not taking new people. And then, so it just ends up being we need to talk to someone named Uthara in the cantina in the spaceport, and she'll take us there, but we need to pass a persuasion check. That's why we got that's why we got 10 persuasion. And that's why I also casted Force Valor, because it just boosts my stats a little bit. So this is a available persuasion check that we can do. So, actually, let's see, 4, 3, 4, 2, 3. So yeah, if you see there, I failed, which means that she's not gonna let me in there ever again. Then, you know, the second fastest way in there is just basically the next fastest way is like a 10-minute detour, so we don't have time for that. And so thankfully we got it on the second try, which is really cool. And then basically in this part we kind of have to, in order to become a Sith, we have to gain favor with Master Uthar, so we're just gonna go do that, So we want to gain favor from a couple different places, one from Uthara. And then we're gonna talk to this guy, who has some doubts at becoming the Sith. And then we're just gonna be a pal here and help LaShow out with her needs. Like a good person. So basically, how this works is that there's kind of like a point system, and each quest that we complete in Korriban that has something to do with the Sith Academy kind of gives us a points booster, and doing those little side quests there is the fastest way for us to kind of gain favor with Master Uthar. And this will come into play, as you'll see a little bit later on here. So now we're going to help out LaShow here. We have to kind of help her recover some holocron. I guess got stolen by a bunch of Takata, I think that's how you pronounce them. And so we're going to force jump to them, but I don't want to attack them because sometimes they can aggro you and follow you everywhere. And they can follow you to like pretty much the Academy, which I do not want them to follow me all the way there, because that means that I can't do a nifty little teleport for later. So
there you are.
So these two Takata are gonna spawn, and we're gonna help her kill them, but
Get ready.
we're gonna be doing our first use of stims here, so we're gonna use a Hyper Alacrity, Stamina, Strength, and an Enchani stim, and you're gonna see here, I basically do a lot of damage now, thanks to these stims. And then so after that, she's gonna be like, I want this for myself, but you know, we didn't ask, so we're gonna beat her up, and we're gonna do another level up here to get a energy resistance. And then we're gonna recover the holocron, so that we can give it to Uthar, which is pretty convenient, because it's gonna help us gain favor. So you'll notice here I learned energy resistance, but we don't really use it. Because we mainly learned it because we kind of need filler skills, because as you notice, the order of 4 skills that will pop up in here is kind of based on what skills we've learned, and we don't want to learn anything above 4 speed, because we want to have an easy way to cast 4 speed. So we just get energy resistance even though we don't really use it. And then so with that done, I mean, pretty go back to the Academy, and then now we can convince Uthar that we are the one to become a Sith. And so Uthar's gonna give us like a huge little quiz, that basically is a lot like the dark side of reciting the dark side of the Force. Passion 1. So what I did there was kind of do the quiz, and I also did enough to I kind of snitch on Kel, which is why I gained dark side points there, but that was pretty much the fastest way I could have done it. It's not too much to give us a really negative influence, and we gave the data pad that we took from Lesho to Uthar. And so now with this, Uthar will tell us that there's one more trial that we have to fill out. And then so he takes us to the tomb of, I think Tolak Nord? I don't remember which tomb. There's 4 tombs you can do. This one's the story tomb. And then now we're gonna... And then we kind of need to find a way across the bridge, which is kind of blocked by a really nasty bull. So we're gonna go into this room. It's gonna close behind us, but it's not a big deal. So we're gonna force jump to that Tyranitek, and we're gonna pull that lever so that these doors can open. And then we're gonna grab the ice grenade here. I mean, so that we can get through that bridge. Because if you choose a fire grenade, it's gonna blow up because it's made of gas and one hit us. So you also notice I looted a crystal there called the Solari Crystal. So the Solari Crystal is bound to the light side, which is why I intentionally try to stay to the light side for most of this game. It's it's probably the most powerful crystal that you can get in this game, and it's really OP because it gives us a bunch of really nice attack and damage bonuses. And it's just pretty much what makes this build shine in the little amount of time we have. So generally the better build would be to do a crit-based build with dual swords, but in the Glitchless we don't really have time for that, so we just make do with the flurry build. So I'm gonna cast here Force Valor, and then Uthar and Uthar are gonna get into a little bit of a tussle here. And so we're gonna be on Uthar's side, so Uthar can't really do much to you, but the worst thing he can do is just force choke you, which doesn't really kill you, but it does waste quite a bit of time. And then so Uthar is gonna try to kill her, or kill us, but you know, we're OP, so... Wow, what is RNG? And so, we're gonna let her go, because we want to stay on the light side there. Because it gives us a nice amount of light side points, and... Also, conveniently, we found the second star map in this place, so... That's really nice. We are basically done here. And then now we can just walk back. So yeah, I just need to verify down on the light side, and yep. So how alignment works is that it's kind of like on a sliding scale from 0 to 100, 0 being the most dark side and 100 being the most light side. And certain actions that you can do kind of affect the... In simplistic terms, like actions that you can do affect your alignment. And then they also can have a different effect based on like your current alignment. So like if you're light side, but suddenly you do like something that's really strong dark side, like you're gonna gain a whole bunch of dark side points. There are some exceptions to this because of especially on Korban, where you can get like hardcore amount of points. And yeah, this is the annoying thing about having these Shyraks closing on us, because now we have to kill this one. So pretty annoying, but not the worst thing ever. And so now we are done with Korban. And so now we're just gonna do one more thing to put our Solari Crystal on. So that's why, like I said, the Solari Crystal is restricted to the light side, so that's why we're going to the light side for most of this playthrough. And then now we are off to Tatooine. And there's another really long cutscene that kinda gives us a brief hint at another one of the bosses, quote-unquote bosses we might be facing. So if you have anything, Dar, now's a good time.
The penalty for failure is death, Admiral Kareth. But the failure was Callow's.
Yeah, we got a $10 donation from Jordan97. For the light side, it says proud words. Now, tiled woman. I know it's the wrong game.
I shall not make the same mistake again. My apprentice,
Thank you very much. Back to you.
Shall take care of our young Jedi friend.
Wrong game. That's a pretty famous quote from the sequel of this game, which is also a really nice game to run, because the any percent version of that category is just absolutely nuts. Also, yep, this is Darth Bandon. You know, he kind of goes kerplow on these Sith, you know. He's kind of a show-off. Also mentioned was that Kayla Nord died, even though we didn't really kill him at all. but the game, if we skip him, just treats him as dead.
Find Bastila and bring her to me.
I didn't realize it interrupted you, Thar, so if you have anything more to say, feel free to for a little bit.
Oh no, that was it.
Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna get another dream sequence here where it's gonna tell us where the... It's gonna tell us where everything is, so... And we're gonna make our way through Tatooine, so... So, you'll also notice I stay solo. Pretty much for the most part, because having party members, as I mentioned on Terrace, is a huge, is not really good, because our party members are kind of worthless. No offense to my party members, they're good people, but, you know... They will just be getting in our way for the most part, so... And so now, in our dream, we kind of find out that was in some kind of cave on Tatooine, so... Unfortunately, we can't exit here without a license, so we're off to grab a license. And so to get a license, we just need to talk to the Zerka agent here.
Can I help?
And we're gonna tell them, oh yeah, we kind of want to quote-unquote hunt, what was it called? Hunt sand people. So they just give us a hunting license just like that, because we're very convincing people. Also, that Durus there still wants to help them out, but we're like, nah, didn't ask. And these Sith here are also gonna try to beat us up, but, you know, we just run past them, because we didn't ask. And then now with a hunting license, we can pretty much just, leave this place. So Tatooine's a pretty big desert, so ideally we want to keep our, force feed for as long as possible. This lady's gonna talk to us about something, we don't know what. She's tied to a quest, but of course in any percent fashion, any percent glitchless fashion, we skip it, so. Anyways, on to this part, you'll notice I take a very specific part, because on this map, in certain areas, we can get ambushed by sand people, which, I mean, we don't really have to kill them, but the cutscene itself just wastes quite a bit of time, and so we want to run a very specific path so that we don't get ambushed. And so also in that menu, I bought pretty much all the meta packs that I will be using for the rest of this game. So a whole bunch of advanced med packs and light support packs, so I'm gonna stim up here, because we're gonna be put into some big fights. And I'm gonna beat up this elite warrior because I need a disguise and I need some Bantha fodder for another quest. So I'm gonna walk this very specific direction here. And then I'm gonna put on this disguise here because I don't want to... So there's a turret up ahead, which is also another insta-kill turret, and I don't want to deal with that, so... You can still get ambushed even though you have a fake costume here, so I still have to take a very specific path. And even though... You also notice I'm holding my level up because in this next area, because we have to kill the sand people chieftain, I'm going to be taking quite a bit of damage, and I also want to kind of keep my basic force speed for as long as possible, because if I have to recast it again, it's going to mess with the duration. And so now that we're past this, we're going to put our Jedi Knight robes back on, because if we keep our disguise in here, we kind of get a cutscene that we don't want to deal with. And so the Sand People Chieftain is in here, and we beat him up because we want, the way to where the star map is kind of like... is kind of blocked by, a lot of sand, so we kind of need a map to help our way through there, so... Since I'm, low HP, I'm going to level up here, so I got Night Speed. Because, Night Speed will... So for each level of force speed that we get, we can, for each level of force speed that we get, the number of attacks that we can make increases, which is really useful, because we kind of want to hit as hard as we can, and deal, we want to take the most chances that we can to deal as much damage as possible, so that's why we go for the standard, that's why, force speed in this game is really good. And it's really good even in casual play. And so now, we get to do quite a bit of walking, and we can transition into this next area, so... Let's see here. And yeah, with that map now we can go to the Eastern Dune Sea without any problems. If we tried to go here like ASAP, it would just tell us, oh, we don't know our way around, so... We're forced to deal with the Sand People Chieftain. And then, so we are going, so... We come into this little cave here, which is conveniently probably where the star map is here, and it's guarded by a big crate dragon here. Also, this guy's gonna try to come in and deal with the crate dragon, but bad RNG. So we're gonna talk to this guy and offer to help him out. So we're gonna help him out like the good buddies we are, and he's gonna tell us that he wants to use these bantha here to lure the crate dragon, and you know, conveniently on us we have the bantha fodder, which we use to help lure them. So we're just gonna talk to these bantha here and lure them. We're also gonna get ambushed by some sand people, unfortunately, but you know, we can beat them up. So generally I want to hit these guys. Sometimes I can one-hit them, which is really good, but most of the times here I'll be able to one-hit them. So what Flurry does is... So for our build, Flurry is really good because Flurry gives us a lot of damage opportunities. So at the cost of some accuracy, but since we have stims, we're pretty accurate on most enemies that we deal with, and it just lets us start or deal a whole bunch of damage. And also thanks to all of our strength gear, so you'll notice our gears is oriented towards strength. They're increasing strength to as much as possible so that we can deal a lot of damage. And now that we can execute this plan, the crate dragon gets blown up by a nice little truckload of mines. And then so Kamar is gonna thank him for our help and give us a nice little crate dragon pearl, which we'll be putting on our lightsaber. And then I know everybody loves this, but I'm gonna grab the violet crystal here just for everyone. It wastes a little bit of time, which is why I don't get in PB attempts, but I gotta do it for all the purple lightsaber lovers here. And so yeah, conveniently he was guarding the star map here. Or the crate dragon here was guarding the star map, which we, you know, I'll take that.
If you have a second here, we got a $7.77 from Anonymous. It says for the light side, Jar Jar Brinks. And with that donation, the light side is taking the lead with $32.77 to the dark side, $30. All you dark side, if you want to see your dark side ending, you better get those donations in here. Keep it up, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the donations. Y'all are donating to a very great cause. Also, you'll notice there, we met up with Darth Bandon, who we saw in the opening cutscene when we had headed to Tatooine. And you know, like Kalo Nor, we pretty much just basically completely skip him. They generally will try to do regular attacks on us with the lightsaber, but sometimes he can troll with a force choke, and if it hits, it's really bad. So, you know, say goodbye to Darth Bandon. And then we transition to the screen because from here we can go back to the Ebon Hawk, and that's Tatooine done. And then so we're gonna get another cutscene here because Zalbar tells us that whoever was stowed away in here bailed, but we don't really care. So we're gonna replace the sigil crystal here with the crate dragon pearl, which is generally just has better bonuses than the sigil crystal. And you know, you guys all get to see this pretty violet lightsaber. So now we're off to get our final star map. But wait, what's happening?
What happened?
predictor ship. They must have been waiting for us on the hyperspace route. We're caught in their tractor beam.
So there's his giant ship that kind of captures us on our way to the 4th planet. So Saul Karras was that admiral that we saw earlier on Terrace in a cutscene. And he also happens to be Karras' mentor. And then so here we're gonna choose whoever's gonna rescue us, and we pick Juhani here because her part is really fast. And we can pretty much just Juhani has force speed and force jump, and we can easily progress through her portion where she has to rescue people. And then so we're gonna go through a cutscene here where Saul kind of tries to torture our party members, but you know, pretty unlucky RNG. And then here for this part, we'll be taking control of Juhani. So this is the second big run killer, because on the Leviathan, as you'll see later on, we are forced to take 2 people with us, Karf and Bastila, and they have a very good tendency to pretty much get trapped around the place, and we do not want that to happen. So they have a tendency to kind of like get lost everywhere, and them getting lost is a big waste of time. So you can lose minutes just from Karf and Bastila just getting lost. So this is another sort of slightly dangerous part, because the Sith coming up here can can stun us. So I'm gonna do a safety save here. And because we don't have any medkit supplies, getting stunned pretty much means for the most part certain death, because Juhani has HP, but we can't tank people for that long. So now we can rescue our party members here. So you also notice here, generally on the PC version, there is an option to do a quick save and a quick load, but we don't use quick saves and quick loads on Glitchless, because on Glitchless it is banned, because quick saves and quick loads are incredibly glitchy, and just even doing one save can lead to some really weird effects. So that's why in Glitchless, quick saves and quick loads are pretty much entirely banned, and we just rely on manual saving and manual loading, which is generally more reliable and glitch-free. So now we're just gonna run through here to this elevator here. We're gonna get another quick cutscene where they're gonna tell us their plans, but you know, we didn't ask, so I'm gonna force speed here to keep up my my timer. And then, so because the AI generally tends to be really bad here, I'm going to make a manual save and manual load. So what this generally tends to do is to make the AI a little more reliable in following me, because as you saw like earlier on Dantooine, our party members just pretty much flat out got lost. So we want to do that because we want to hopefully skip that first Sith there. If we don't skip it, it's not a big deal. It just wastes some time, because Karf and Bastila then start getting lost quite a bit, and that's not really good. So we're gonna go to this armory here and pick up some spacesuits, and you all are gonna be enjoying how slow this part is later on. So I'm gonna make another manual save here, because this next part has 2 Jedi Masters here that can do some really bad status effects on us. So if I had gotten stunned at any point, I would just pretty much have to reload my save, because getting stunned there is really bad. And it's now this is the infamous extremely slow part, where we can't use force speed, unfortunately, because force speed gets taken off, so we just have to deal with it. So I switched to Karf here because it's a little bit more consistent. And he's a little bit closer to the door here, so just not a huge difference, but it's but any little chance to do less movement helps. So we're pretty much slowly making our way through here. And so this next boss fight coming up isn't too bad. So we're pretty strong now, so pretty much almost all of the boss fights from here on are a huge deal because we have med packs, which we will use from the inventory because it's basically an extra action we can take. But the only thing that we pretty much really bad thing that really happens is just us wasting a bunch of time. So I'm gonna force speed here to quickly get through them. And actually, med pack here for safety. And then I'm gonna force speed here again, because for whatever reason, this tends to help a lot in keeping my stems up, which I really do want, because I will probably have to kill my way through quite a bit after this. So this is a Saul fight. It's pretty simple. We're just gonna fully stem up here. And then we're gonna have our MC is just gonna be jumping up and killing these dudes, and Carp and Basileia can just basically do whatever they want, because they can't do very much. They die really easily. They're basically just cannon fodder. Generally though, I do hope that Carp and Basileia do get some hits on people. So that's why you'll see every now and then I'll get some hits on. So you'll notice here, pretty much even though it hurts really bad, using med packs here just makes it quite a bit more makes it quite a bit more convenient. That was a really... So Carp and Basileia usually don't survive there. That probably would have been a gold had I have kept my splits, so... Pretty easy fight. Our, Saul's gonna tell Carr something that, invariably has him really pissed off at us, which you're gonna find out later on, so I'm gonna recast Force Speed, and I'm gonna do a safety save here, because I need to escort Carp and Basileia out of here, and if Carp gets stunned on this part, it's gonna be really bad, so I'm gonna kill these 3 Sith Grenadiers here. I'm gonna force jump to this Elite Trooper. I'm gonna turn on solo mode, because I need to get out of that door while skipping that encounter. I'm going to give Carp an alacrity here so that he can go fast. And the only really bad part here that can happen is if Carp gets stunned. And for whatever reason, the AI here is stalling, so that's really good. And that was really smooth. If Carp gets stunned, there is really bad, because if I do it just as I transition out, Carp pretty much gets stunned forever. So that was really smooth. So now that I successfully have stems for this part, I know that I'll have them extended until the end of this part, so... Now we just need to escape this part, and this is pretty much the last, like, really scary part that can happen before, This is the last extremely scary part that can happen, before, the next part, because after that, we don't need Carp and Basileia following us. So what can happen there is sometimes Carp and Basileia can get distracted and kill some stuff that we don't really want to kill, which is really bad. And then I control Carp here because he's range and he can pretty much after the main character kills the enemy, he can they'll automatically go to Carp. So that was a really smooth Leviathan. So that's pretty much the last like really scary part of this run. Because thankfully my party members follow me, so I'm going to level up our main character here. So I'm going to get a Master 2 weapon fighting, and then I'm going to get Knight Valor here. And then pretty much one more part here before we make our full escape from the Leviathan. And oh noes, we are meeting the Dark Lord of the Sith Malak here. Malak's gonna show off his Jedi skills. Carp's gonna try to hit him, but you know, gets owned because Sith. And we're gonna go through this really shocking cutscene here. So this is probably one of the most coolest plot twists that nobody ever encountered here, even though it was a little bit hinted, but the hints there were totally minor. And you're gonna discover that Darth Revan was really Mullet Man. Oh noes. That is pretty shocking. So we're gonna be like, oh noes. And then Mal's gonna explain to us why what happened there, and you know, we're gonna fight him because, you know, we're kind of pissed off. So basically, Bastila and the Jedi Council knew that we were Revan all along, but they chose not to disclose it. So what happened before right before the events of Coder 1 was that, basically Revan and Malik Revan was on the ship, and the Jedi kind of mounted an attack to capture Revan. So everyone thought that Revan died, but in reality, they just erase Revan's mind, which happens to be you. And this is why this is probably considered one of the best plot twists in all of gaming history, because it was kind of hinted at, but it's kind of pretty much like a huge shock to you, because you totally were not expecting that at all. And so Bastila, so we beat on Malik there. I put on stims because I want to preferably one-hit Malik. And Bastila, you know, takes one for the team to to give us a diversion to escape, and then now we're off in another fighter segment. So if you have any donation star, feel free to say some.
None at the moment. So just to remind you guys, we got the light side leading with $32.77. Dark side is trailing very closely behind at $30. So it's a close race, guys. Let's keep those donations coming.
Get those donations in if you want to influence which side Mullet Man will be taking at the end of the game. Even though technically I have light side points, I can totally do a complete 180 and fall to the dark side at a certain point. So, and get those donations in if you don't like the light side and want to choose the dark side. So we're on the last planet here, Kashyyyk. So we do Kashyyyk last because Kashyyyk doesn't really offer us anything really useful. And we basically... And Kashyyyk only kind of offers us... Actually, I want to do something cool. Grab that. So Kashyyyk doesn't really offer us much in terms of like benefits, and it will let us skip a little something at the end when we get the star map, because generally on Kashyyyk we have to do a quiz, and because we don't know that we're Revan. If we had done it before we knew we were Revan, but since we're doing Kashyyyk last, we can pretty much skip that part. And so now... So now we just skip these dudes, and then we're gonna put on some hyper strength, and we're gonna stem up here because we do need to kill a couple mobs on our way here. So we need to kill this group because later on we'll be escorting someone, a Forest party member, to the end here. So after that, we don't really need to kill anything else here, but we do generally want to one-hit kill these guys because they can be, these can ref here because they can be pretty annoying. So this is a place where like having good knowledge of your force jumps is really good, because you're going to be doing quite a bit of walking in here. So I'm going to force jump to that Jedi and try to hit him, because generally I want to try and kill that Dark Jedi, so that because they tend to follow you pretty much everywhere, and they will follow us to a very inconvenient place later on. So on Kashyyyk here, they're gonna take Zalbar away because they got some family business to be dealing with, but unfortunately for you Zalbar fans, that's the last time we'll be seeing Zalbar, because we are not going to rescue him, because we've got a star map to get, and doing the quest to get him isn't necessary to get the star map, and it's just really slow. So goodbye Zalbar. He served us very, very well for that part. And so now... So what I did there was, I also set up my warp point for later on. Since, I will be doing a transition, and it's just faster to take that way to back to the Evan Hawk, so... Now we just have to force jump our way through all of these Kinrath. It can be a little annoying because sometimes when you try to force jump everywhere, it'll automatically target your last monster rather than like the most recent monster you're trying to face, and sometimes you're just pretty much just force jump backwards when you don't really want to. And so basically, we kind of find out that the star map on this planet is on a forest. And so now we need to just find the right people who can escort us through there. So I don't force jump through these because sometimes the distance is so short that it's not really worth it. And so we're gonna meet also everybody's favorite Jedi, Jolie. We're pretty much gonna see him here beating up these Katarn here. Like a cool man. So he's asking us to help out with some Zerka that are kind of annoying him. So in exchange for his help, he wants us to deal with the Zerka. So we'll be doing just that. So we choose here to try to deal with this stack because these stack will be used for force jump fodder. And then we want to deactivate this because this will Tyranitek will come over and terrorize them, and then they're gonna run away. And so now with that done, you'll notice these tack are now targetable, and we are pretty much going to use that to our advantage here to be able to force jump quite a bit, pretty much just around the place. And then now, that we helped out Jolie will join our party, so... So, thankfully we don't need him to come with us for a majority of the Shadowlands, so we just leave him there. And now we're just off on our way to force jumping everywhere, or jumping everywhere, so yeah, you'll see there why targeting is kind of sometimes really annoying. So now when I force jump here, I kind of would like to try to not actually attack them and just do the force jump animation, because I'll need to be going back here, and I just don't want to kill these because then I don't have much stuff to force jump on, so that's why you'll notice me canceling that there. And then now for this force field, we don't need Jolie next to us for that, and this is a little inconvenient. I forgot to force speed, but that's not a big deal. So we're gonna see this Wookiee get into a little tussle here with some Mandalorians, but we're just gonna ignore that, because we're trying to go fast here. And so now we're just gonna walk here, and we do have one more forced encounter that we have to kill, so I'm going to stim up here. So I don't use the full stim because all I need to do here is damage. That's why we buy the strength stims and the hyper stim, because those give us the most amount of strength bonuses. We generally want to keep our Enchani stim for the big boss fights. And so now with them eliminated, we can go get the star map. And so now, since we already know we're Revan, we can just open up the star map, because before we'd have to do some kind of like long quiz where we have to prove that we are worthy of getting the star map. And then this also teleports Jolie back to us. And so now we need to escort him, but first we're gonna level up here. Treat injury, we're gonna get Master Flurry. I can click right. And then we're going to get force resistance because we don't really have any other good skills to get, so. And that's the last star map. And so now we just need to make our way back through the Shadowlands, back to the Ebon Hawk. So I'll probably recast Force Speed again before leaving here, because I need, Julie's not being very cooperative. I mean, I would like to not have to cast it again and waste a lot of force power. Since I can only cast about 3 force powers before I'm out of force, which is really annoying. And so, we don't need Julie with us for this part, so we can just leave him there. And then now we just need to force jump back, and this time we can pretty much just kill whatever we want, since we won't be... This is the last time we're passing through the area. So yeah, that's pretty much a lot of jumping around. So if you have anything you want to talk about there, feel free to.
Yeah, sorry about that, just had to pull up my little sheet here. So one of the things the Movember Foundation focuses on is men's mental health and suicide prevention. In the U.S., the rate of male suicide is alarmingly high. 3 out of 4 suicides are men. We can't sit back and accept this. Movember looks at mental health through a male lens, focusing on prevention, early intervention, and health promotion. We're working towards a world where men can take action to be mentally well and are supported by those all around them. By 2030, we'll reduce the rate of male suicides by 25%. Help us get there. And you guys have done a great job throughout this marathon helping us get there. As you can see, we've raised almost $1,500 in just 3 days of running this. We really appreciate that, guys. Words can't express how much this means to us. So keep those donations coming. We're still sitting at a light side lead of $32.77 to the dark side is $30. So I believe we still have some time. Well, how much longer till you have to pick a side?
About 15 more minutes.
15 more minutes, so 15 more minutes. So get those last second donations in. Back to you.
So this is the last really scary part, because sometimes Julie won't follow me very properly, and there might be mobs chasing us, and Julie will easily get caught up in that, and that wastes a lot of time, but thankfully nothing is following us, so this is pretty smooth. I'm just gonna force jump to these Kinrath here. And then now that we've gotten all 4 star maps, so these star maps tell us the location of something called the Star Forge, which is where the Sith have been producing all of these war machines, which are really bad news. So we're pretty much gonna take our time to. So that's why we grabbed it, because these star maps tell us the exact location of the Star Forge, and so now we're gonna make our way there. But now we're gonna see this cutscene where Bastila, who got captured by Malika's. She took one for the team, so now Malika's trying to turn her to the dark side by torturing her.
No, dear Bastila, you misunderstand. This is but a taste of the dark side to whet your appetite. When you finally swear loyalty to me, it will be willingly.
Never.
So you'll have to see later whether or not the attempt was successful. So I guess I forgot about this one big plot point. Malik wanted Bastila alive because Bastila has this ability called Battle Meditation. And what Battle Meditation does is that it pretty much just basically influences armies to kind of do whatever you want. So in the general case, Bastila will use her Battle Meditation to pretty much make an entire army much stronger, and then the opposing army really weak. So having Bastila around basically pretty much makes armies overpowered, which is why Malik wants her as part of his Epic Sith World Domination
We're
Plan.
outside their sensor range. Small vanguard of Sith fighters coming in hard.
And so now we enter here into
Gun turrets. Take
another
those
fighter
shots before
segment,
they report our position.
which is the last fighter segment here that we have to deal with. Just need to take care of this. So there's shit. So kind of did that weirdly. But that worked out pretty well. And so now, on our way to the Star Forge, we have to deal with those Sith fighters, and then
Massive overloads in all systems.
kind of turns out that
Planet in this system.
we're kind of getting affected by some weird field, and then we ended up crash landing on this planet, which you'll be seeing later on. So first things first, though, I'm going to make a manual save here, and then I'm going to exit the game because this game has a pretty bad memory leak problem. And depending on the pace of this run, your game is eventually going to crash. So to fix that, we just exit the game and re-enter it. And so here we're gonna see these species that we've never seen before. These species are called Rakata. They mostly reside on this planet. In the past, they had a dominating They pretty much dominated every single planet, and using stuff like the Star Forge, they pretty much almost ruled quite a bit of the entire planet until some events occurred that made them really weak now, so they pretty much only, for the most part, live on this planet here, so I'm gonna stim up here since we will be entering some battles later where we want to kill stuff.
Just so you know, Darkseid is just taking back the lead. Because of a $20 donation from Ace Lord. It says, "Hey Sanjan, have you heard the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Embrace the dark side."
Oh my goodness. Thank you very much. You still have time. This is the last planet that we can do before Mullet Man's fate is decided. So if you want to embrace the light side or totally join the dark side, get your donations in. So what happens here is that this person called the One wants us to help him out by defeating the other tribe called the Elders, the Elder Rakata. So we're just gonna tell him we're not gonna help him out because it's actually faster to help out these old people right here. So so we don't want to get into combat for this part because we want that Rakata. We want to talk to that Elder Rakatan warrior there. And we can't be in combat for that, so we avoid combat. And in case like we ever got hit, we can pretty much just like run around in a circle until we're out of combat. So thankfully we got that pretty quickly. But now since we got the ship parts and we helped him out, we can pretty much just escape. So you'll see here I'm trying to use force jump as much as possible because I want to hopefully one hit most of these Rakata. And if I like try to immediately force jump after, there's no cooldown on it, so that's really convenient stuff. How much is Darkseid leading by now? If you know, Thar? Okay, well, I guess the game didn't want me to force jump, so you can go on. I'm just walking.
Did you have a question, Sanjan?
No, so Lane, someone in chat asked how much is Darkseid leading?
Darkseid is leading $50 to Lightside's $32.77.
My duration glitch is really bad now, so now that we've helped out them out, we are on our way to the Elder Rakata stronghold. So basically the conflict is that the Elder Rakata want to stick to their old ways, but the Warrior Rakata wanted to go back to their more like former warlike ways. And also rip the Gizka. Please, certain people, if you do not like those cute animals dying, there you go. All Gizka must die. And so we want to help out the Elder Rakata because they're the fastest way of kind of like breaking down the gate to the ancient temple, which we want to head to. And so, pretty much, now that we've done our part by not really killing the one, even though the game thinks we kind of defeated the one, because we just kind of left him there, just ran away from him because we don't have to kill him. So, thanks to helping out the Elder Rakata and saying no to the one, we basically convinced them, alright, well, they'll help us out, so. So I'm gonna use a med pack here because those young rancors there hurt really bad. And then now I'm gonna try to force jump to this rancor over here. And then now we are just walking through this part. So thankfully the next area, pretty much right after, is the place where the ancient temple is, and conveniently they're gonna break down the barrier there that is guarding the ancient temple, so they're gonna do their little fancy little ritual here, which I don't know the words to, I'm sorry. It sounds a little French to me, but so basically for this part, Jolie and Juhani find out that, you know, through their forced senses, they're finding some sketchy stuff is happening in there, so they want us to take them with them to help out, so, you know, we're good people, we're just gonna do that. And then so when we enter here, we're gonna get a very jaw-dropping cutscene. Yes, it's literally jaw-dropping. You'll understand why in a second here.
Lord Malak, the preparations are nearly complete. Every day the Star Forge adds more ships to our fleet. It is operating at nearly 300% of our projections. The fleet is assembling around the Star Forge and awaits your instructions.
Gas, very jaw-dropping. You know, I don't know how... Pretty cool technology for him to speak, but you know, I think we got other questions about how he eats and stuff, but basically that was the result of Bastila kind of chucking her lightsaber at him and tearing apart his jaw.
As you wish, Lord Malak.
Which basically is also promptly replaced by a prosthetic jaw that you saw like in that last cutscene.
What is it?
So we're gonna turn on solo mode because thankfully, even though we have our characters with us, they can sit there and still be able to for the most part transition to different areas. And by the way, the incentive is gonna end pretty soon here, in just about 2-3 minutes or so. So if you want to snipe light side, now's the best time to.
Well, we just got an anonymous donation of $17.23, who says, "I know now that Kingdom Hearts is light for the side of the light," and that actually ties it.
Oh boy!
Both have $50 now.
Oh god. So yeah, if you want to change the tide, now's a good chance to.
What are we gonna do if it stays tied?
Well, I will, let's see. Can I open the door? Okay, I did. Well, we'll roll the dice, I guess. No, unfortunately we can't do both. So actually,
Yes.
I'm gonna grab
She
Giovanni
obviously
here.
can't do both.
Nope.
So let's do something about that, folks. Who's it gonna be? Light side or dark side?
Yeah, you have a very limited amount of time to pick, so get those donations in. If you want to influence what will happen. So now we're just, so we had to go down there because that was the only way we could open the door up to the top of the summit here. And then now we're just gonna pretty much walk back here. We're gonna open this door. Alright, I got it open. I'm gonna beat up that droid because that droid tends to troll us quite a bit. I'm also gonna cast Force Valor here because the next boss coming up, mini boss I guess, has a very good tendency to pretty much completely troll us. And so, it turns out here that Bastila has turned to the dark side. Oh no, so I'm gonna beat her up. She can troll you by doing some really bad status effects, and then now she can do that. And I need to know if we're... what's the choice now?
Light just took the lead back with a $1 donation from Lane, who says, "Hi Sanjan, good luck. Light side for faster times."
Alrighty, so we are picking the light side, I see. And so now that we picked the light side, we're gonna tell Bastila to screw off because she gave us an offer to join the dark side and kind of become the new ruler. But you know, we picked the light side, so we told her to kind of sod off. And then now, that was really alright. I was hoping they followed, but so basically, in the speedrun, light side is over 5 minutes faster than the dark side because in the dark side, we have to... So, in the dark side we have to do extra fights, and I mean a lot of them. Because, first off in the dark side, we would have to kill Juhani and Jolie, which is, not the pain part, but the bigger pain part is in the Starforge, because had we picked dark side, we had to take Bastila with us. And when we take Bastila with us, that means that we have a party member with us, and this also means that we had to pretty much kill everything in the Starforge, which it's not the biggest issue in the world, but it is extremely annoying to have to kill literally everything in the Starforge. I mean, Bastila, if you choose the dark side, she comes with some really good items. She comes with 10 thermal grenades and a stim. But it's definitely not worth the 5-minute detour that we have just killing stuff. And if you want an idea of like how much the detour is, you basically can gain like 2 levels. Also, fun fact, the mullet man here is like what, level 12, and Bastila's like level 18. So, fun fact there for those of you interested. And so now that we've got the planet and everything set up and we fix our broken ship, we're off to the Starforge.
The Republic fleet must have gotten the message I sent as we were crashing into that planet.
And so now we have this very long cutscene where Karf tells the Republic to take this opportunity to attack the Starforge, and also to take this opportunity to rescue Bastila, to kind of deal with Bastila, because Bastila is using her battle meditation to have like a really good influence on the Sith versus the Republic, so we pretty much basically kind of need to do a sneak attack in order to take care of hopefully take care of Bastila. So this is a very long cutscene, so if you have something to say, Thar, feel free to. You got like quite a bit of time.
Not much to say other than thank you everybody who participated in this bid war. We managed to raise just over $100 during this very close race, with the light side just winning by $1. Final score was the light side with $51 and the dark side at $50. Thanks again, everybody. We really appreciate it, all the support, and we know the Movember and men all around the world appreciate it as well. Thank you very much for the support.
Yeah, thank you all so much for donating to that bid war. Congratulations to the light side for winning again. Grumble, grumble. I actually would have liked the dark side to win, because you'll notice how kind of it's not really like the encounters that kind of kill you, but there's like the tone is like quite different compared to the light side, and for me that's the really interesting part. But generally in this game, dark side actions are pretty darn evil compared to KOTOR 2. Also, yeah, in this cutscene, they pretty much explain in detail the plans. This is why some people don't like Glitchless, because you watch a lot of cutscenes, but this is generally like a good bathroom break cutscene, as you're literally just sitting here.
Is text progressing on its own? You don't have to mash?
Nope, I don't have to mash.
Don't worry, Admiral. The Evan
Basically, after like every single planet, for the most part, except for when you transition from Manon to Korriban, you don't have to. There's like a huge like kind of introductory cutscene that plays, like that kind of details what's happening like on the back end. And so basically, what happens there is that it's pretty much like you can't skip it. So also, I fed the Gizka poison there, which means say goodnight to all the Gizka. It's all good. I didn't want to influence it in a certain direction. I want to see what chat would say.
Before they...
I'm not gonna lie.
Damn! So much for catching them unprepared.
It's all good. I'm pretty sure we're on we're on quite good pace, because there hasn't been anything that has gone really wrong in this run. Also, another unskippable cutscene here. They're gonna duke it out, but we're just gonna run. Yeah, I would call it a almost social experiment to see how many people like the dark side versus the light side. But it's all good. And so there's more unskippable cutscenes here because you know, this dude's gonna release some droids on us. Which you're pretty much gonna quickly see why light side is a much faster ending. Because there's basically gonna be a bunch of stuff that we're gonna encounter since it is the last part of the game. And since we are by ourselves, we can skip through all of it. So we're gonna get automatically put on our floor here, but we're just gonna put on the alacrity to keep our speed. We're just gonna beat on these droids because they'll move when we do some damage to them. Yeah, unfortunately in the speedrun, we don't use any dark side powers. Even though in casual playthrough, using stuff like Force Choke is really fun. We're pretty much very reliant on normal attacks, because that's literally the quickest way to do damage in this game. And so, the more unskippable cutscenes here for this epic battle between the Sith and Jedi.
More victims for us to slaughter.
But I guess to explain like the dark side ending, Vasila would have joined you to become your quote-unquote apprentice. And basically you two would kind of mount kind of like a sneak attack to kind of like try to overthrow Malik because he is not good enough, and Darth Revan aka Bullet Man is cooler and better. So we're gonna cast Force Valor here, because we're gonna go through quite a bit of Sith here, who can deal some really bad status effects that will make us go slow, and Force Valor just helps us in general resist that. And so we're gonna deal with the Sith Heavy Trooper here. So yeah, this is why we pretty much just run past all of these encounters if we have Darkseid. Vasila is forced to come along with us, and we pretty much have to kill pretty much every single encounter in the world. So we need to deal with these, hello? We need to deal with these turrets that are blocking the way to the command center, so that's why we have just enough computer spikes there. That's why we looted the place on Manon for all those computer spikes to just to have barely enough to pull through it. If we had missed a place, we can just... It's not the biggest deal. We can just talk to T3 to give us some stims, or to give us some computer spikes. And so here's another cutscene with Vastila talking to Malik about some stuff. So Vastila's gonna do her fancy little battle meditation here.
And then we shall see if Revan can.
And then Malik's gonna try to send quote-unquote everything against us. With a very cool line. We definitely didn't ask Malik, so we're just gonna run through all of these peeps again. I'm actually gonna heal up here because I'm at a little bit lower HP than I would like. And so coming up here, I'm going to use all of my stims. So I'm gonna recast Force Speed and Force Valor here. So coming up is the fight that we'd like to call the annoying Triple Sith. They're not a hard fight. We can't die unless I'm very reckless, but they can pretty much cast a bunch of force powers that are really annoying and kind of just stall us. So just like that, that's one of the annoying force powers we get because it pretty much just accounts as our actions, and it just exists to be really annoying. Thankfully that was a pretty easy fight. And so I'm going to recast Force Speed here. And because in this next room we're going to face Vastila, who turned to the dark side. So the way this fight works is that like after each little segment, like you're going to talk to her, and there's kind of like a meter whether or not like she can be redeemed. So certain points will kind of score higher on her chance to be redeemed. So there's always like a very certain way you can redeem her, but if you just want to test your luck, let's see, 2, 2, 1. If you want to test your luck, you can just spam 1 on all these conversations. So generally we want to try not to kill Vastila here because it's slower to kill Vastila, so we're gonna spare her. 1, 3. And so we're gonna spare her. Sorry it took me a while because I'm mostly used to doing this as a female character, which makes the conversation slightly different. So yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning, male and female characters don't really have much of a difference. The only huge difference is in this conversation of Vastila here, which just generally means you just generally have to use a different conversation if you want to spare her. Or you could just like press 1 and hope your RNG is good. And you get to persuade her to go back to the light side. And so now we're coming up for this cutscene here where we see Malik, but he's gonna show off his Jedi killing skills, as if we totally asked Malik. Thanks for the show off. And so he's gonna close the doors on us and summon a whole bunch of droids, but thankfully in speedrun fashion we can skip these. Also, sorry if it's pretty loud. This cutscene is pretty loud. So we can just skip all of that by just breaking down this door. I'm going to recast Force Speed here. And Force Valor here, and we are off to the final boss battle. I'm gonna actually heal here.
Well done, Revan.
So we're gonna spam 2 there because no conversation is much faster, and now this is just pretty much a mostly easy battle. We're just gonna... This first part is just pretty much hitting with hopefully flurry hitting, and then this next cutscene is where he kind of explains like the next mechanic of this. So you're gonna see these Jedi that are kind of like in stasis, who are kidnapped from Dantooine. We call them Popsicle Jedi because they look like popsicles and they're basically dead. So So, you're gonna see here, he's gonna drain their life, which brings him to pretty much max HP. And you also notice why I specifically learned Drain Life for this battle. And this is only for this battle because what we can do here is pretty much just cast Drain Life on those and destroy these because each time Malik gets to really low HP, if we don't have these capsules destroyed, he's gonna drain life from them and pretty much heal to full. So we don't want to battle him like 10 times. So that's why we learn Drain Life. Drain Life is also convenient because when we drain life from these also fully replenish our force power and our health, so convenient stuff. Hey, Mola man, you gonna force jump to him? Whatever. So I'm gonna recast Force Speed here and Force Valor. And then now time's coming up, by the way, pretty soon here, as soon as I beat Malik. So this is just another flurry spam, and heal is needed. So time's coming up when the black screen appears after defeating Malik. So that was pretty smooth, Malik, and time is coming now.
Very nice. 207.48.
207.48. Wow, that's about 203 in game time. So by the way, Coder uses in-game time because not because there's an in-game timer in here, but we use a load remover because load removers actually make quite a bit of difference. So thank you for the GGs, everyone. So we basically beat up Malik here. He's just gonna fall down dead here. So I want to have a huge shout outs to the Coder speedrunning community for being awesome people. They're a very awesome community. They're very happy to help out basically anyone that's new to this game. This category is pretty much a very beginner friendly, as you see there, because there's plenty of very chill parts in this run because lots of